My name is Piotrowski, and I from a Directorate for Education and Human Resources, and I'll be talking about the new perspective that was just added this year to SaTC solicitation, education perspective. Now, the first thing I want to say is, even if this is the first year that that perspective is in the SaTC solicitation, NSF has funded many cybersecurity education projects under other programs. And that's when I want to mention a couple of acronyms. Those in red, you can search for those solicitations or awards, just to be sure if you will be writing a project for SaTC. I suggest you check what was funded over the last 10 years in those programs. So those three other programs that again existed for about 10 years now is a Cyber Core Scholarship for Service. That program in the name has a scholarship, but in fact has a track called Capacity Building Track, where it's funding up to $900,000 per project. The other program is TUES, that's transforming undergraduate education in STEM. It's interdisciplinary, covering all STEM areas, but also there is a significant amount of projects funded in cybersecurity. And finally, the third program is Advanced Technological Education. This is the program that targets technicians, so community colleges are involved in those projects, and it's up to $800,000 per project in this program. So again, in this solicitation, for the first time in the SaTC solicitation, we have cybersecurity education perspective. To some extent, I consider this a pilot. We really will fund, as is indicated in the solicitation, only 5 projects at $300,000 each, just to see how it works. So what I'm going to answer, the questions that are appearing right away is, so what will be the different, why we have that perspective in SaTC, what will be funding here, contrasting this what we are funding in other programs? And I don't know. Let's consider this a pilot. As some said, NSF builds things bottom up. We don't know what kind of proposals will be submitted. And I hope that we'll have different flavor of proposals that are submitted to other programs. So what I'm going to do here is talk a little bit what we have funded in the last 10 years to give you some areas about the history. But again, these are not a suggestion for SaTC submissions. Just give you overview. So first, a very popular type of proposals is related to faculty expertise, to building the capacity in higher education enterprise through faculty development. Curriculum guidelines. Cybersecurity is a relatively new area, and those of you who follow the ACM curricular recommendations published every 10 years or so know that last time in 2001, they missed cybersecurity. Cybersecurity was not present. The next recommendations will be published next year in 2013. Cybersecurity has a little presence, that there's a Stroman version on the web that you can check. It's not a lot about cybersecurity, so we are still looking for different curriculum models. We are looking at pathways between 2-year and 4-year degree programs. More than 50% of students graduating in STEM these days have part of their education in community colleges because of many factors. And we look at pathways between connecting those 2-year and 4-year programs, and then connecting 4-year programs and graduate programs. We also look at accelerated programs that become very popular to combine bachelor and master degree programs, also targeting specific groups, like for example, with a huge number of veterans coming from Afghanistan, we are looking for accelerated programs for career changers or for veterans. Another area that we were very interested in last few years was integration of cybersecurity into the curriculum. That especially undergraduate curriculum is overloaded. Essentially, has all classic topics from 1960s and 1970s. We never dropped them. We keep adding, and now essentially there is no space to add new areas like cybersecurity. So one solution is integrate rather than adding new courses. Integrate cybersecurity topics into existing courses. Transition to education. We are interested in models or frameworks that will essentially encourage researchers to think every time you have a research proposal or you do research, think how I can transition this quickly to education. So funding specific examples or some general framework that will help with those transitions. Outreach. Again, along the building pipelines, we funded a lot of activities reaching to K-12. Also, we funded some projects that look at, for example, competitions. Competitions are very popular. There is about 86 cybersecurity competitions every year. But we have very, very little research on the effectiveness of this kind of outreach. We don't know if the students retain the knowledge and similar questions about the cost benefit. Increasing diversity, is always our emphasis to looking in computing and specifically cybersecurity on broadening participation. And finally, other. We funded a lot of projects that were different, and I hope as a response to this coming SaTC solicitation, we'll see topics that we haven't seen before. And the final comment, I think this is my final slide, is that in our directorate we have a strong emphasis on evaluation. We literally look at the evidence-based projects. So if you will be writing proposal for education perspective, you have to very clearly state the goals, you have to have a very good evaluation plan, and essentially supported by a budget and independent evaluator.